We are Susie, Martin, and Julian, and we are driving from our home in Seattle, Washington, to Kelowna, British Columbia. Over the next week, we'll eat, swim, and play our way through this part of Canada that none of us have ever been to before. Join us on our Canadian beach vacation. The adventure got off to a really exciting start because we were like 15 minutes away from home when we realized we didn't have our passports.
And it was a close call, the closest I've ever had, but we did get the passports. So now we're heading straight for Canada.
That is by far the easiest border crossing I think we've ever seen.
So there were two ways to get here, and the other one was perhaps a little shorter, but it involved going through the main road, the main highway, I-5 to Canada from the USA, and then crossing through the main border where it's always a nasty line, and then going through the busy parts of BC. But now we get the scenic route.
Do you have your passport, Juju? Wow, he's already over it. So immediately after crossing the border, we were greeted with like these really nice orchards and like fruit vineyards and everything, and we kept going until we got to the town of Osoyoos. We drove by a public beach and it had a lot of people compared to the beaches on the Washington side, which were pretty much empty. So yeah, very, very different already just by crossing that border.
Yeah, that is because for them, you know, everything is north of here and colder than here. Well, for the USA, everything is south of here and warmer than here. So for them, this is much more prized land. We're walking into the farmer's market, and one thing to know is that this area is one of Canada's best for orchards, and it's also Canada's wine country. So there's bound to be good farming here. Nice music, really.
Well, the farmer's market was more of an arts and crafts market, which was pretty cool, but they did have some food that we ended up getting. It was like a truck with like kind of fusion food, but we had these pierogies, which had a really amazing sauce with them, and also our first poutine, Martin's first poutine ever, and this one had duck confit, so it was a slightly fancier poutine, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was really good.
No water anymore, I'm sorry, it's coming. Simply stunning, awesome place. We would love to stop at the beach right now and swim, but we have to get on our way very soon.
Which is hard for all of us to do, but especially Julian. I know you want to swim. We'll swim later today, I promise. Well, that amazingness is called Gyro Park, and it's at the end of the commercial strip. You just keep walking down the street and it leads you to this giant public beach, which also has some green space. It's got concession stands, and it is full of people. So that is definitely the place to be today. Since we're doing a very driving heavy road trip, with a 2-year-old, it's definitely challenging. So we're trying to time our drive, or chunk our drives up into smaller little bits and time them around Julian's nap time, and also make sure to stop to give him some time to play and not have to be cooped up in the car all day. So yesterday he actually napped the entire way over, or almost the entire way over. So we had to spend a little bit extra time in the afternoon tiring him out, but it wasn't a problem because we actually found a nice playground nearby, and he got to swim in the pool. So that wasn't too bad yesterday. Today we have about an hour's drive remaining, so we're stopping to give him some lunch. We know his favorite foods. He really likes fruits and he really likes meats, so we have that to give him. Alright, well, we've arrived to our accommodations for the next few nights. It's an Airbnb and it's in Kelowna. So we'll show you around the surroundings later on, but before we unpack our things and throw them everywhere, I'll give you a quick tour. So we're on the 4th floor. There's a big parking garage down below, which is a little confusing at first, but we did find our way. Walk in. There's a nice full bath in here, actually, with a stand-up shower. Have a really nice spacious bedroom in here. Another full bath in here with an actual tub, so a little more spacious. Another bedroom in here We've got the full kitchen. Very nice. A little dining room. And the hangout space. Look at this hangout space. I bet you're gonna climb all over that couch, aren't you? Ooh. Very nice deck. What's in your water bottle? What is it? What's on it?
Tigers.
Tigers, that's right.
A water bottle.
Yeah. That was his responsibility to
Couch.
carry in from the
A
car.
couch.
I'm trying to teach him how to carry his own things. Couch.
We took a trail ride outside our condo where we're renting, and now we're on some kind of marsh park walkway above the water.
So this trail as a whole is really nice because we're able to walk from our front doorstep past the community pool all the way down to this waterfront trail that will take us to downtown.
Yeah, the place looks pretty walkable. I saw dozens and dozens of restaurants. We're not going to run out of things to do here for 4 days that we've rented. And here is the beach, on this side at least. This is not the main beach. This is the more northern beach on the northern side of downtown. Right here you have lodging and boat and a lagoon. And on this side you have the beach. We're trying to teach Julian to walk straight and where we want him to walk based on our plans. It's a bit of a struggle because he gets excited and he goes in the water.
He's learned the word today, patience. He came up to me and was like, patient, patient. I was like, yes, you've been very patient today. Our first beach day in Kelowna, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh! It's cold. It's cold.
We're driving to Kelowna from Seattle even. It's very nice here.
Hi.
Hi. We're taking the night walk on the beach here. It's so nice.
That's right. It's actually 8 p.m., believe it or not, but it is so busy here. It's awesome.
And in the north we get sunlight till like 10 o'clock here, so
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Of course. There.
Dear. Right, it's our second day, actually our first full day, but our second day in Kelowna, and we are off to find some coffee and some food.
Part of what is happening in Canada right now is they are just building like crazy, and it is all credit fueled. In the same time, they're importing millions of immigrants by the year. So it's like this project basically to urbanize, to make it denser, to increase the population, bring in more immigrants. It may add up, it may not. It may be a huge bust and that will be painful, but at the moment it's all around here. So it might be that eventually they overinvest or whatever, they borrow too much, but if you look now, all around here, even in the interior northwest, high-rise is going up like Miami. I read before we came here that they gave an ordinance to build high-rise and make it an urban environment by increasing the density, and we're seeing it all around us. It's because they think that is easier to make such cities sustainable, walkable, not dependent on cars, and they're actually going full steam ahead. While the USA as usual talks the talk, but it drags its feet when it comes to these things. We arrived at the coffee shop, it's quite large.
This morning we looked for a coffee place, and one of the ones closest to us that was actually highly rated was called Sprout Bread. They serve not only coffee but also a bunch of bread-based sandwiches and toasts. So we each got a sandwich. I highly recommend getting one, like any of them. They all sounded really good, and the coffee was also quite good. I got an iced mocha. Martin got a pour over, which took, I don't know, close to half an hour to get, so that part wasn't so great. But to their credit, you know, it's a really big space. There's outdoor space, upstairs space, downstairs space, very, very busy, and lots of people. So if you have patience, definitely recommend checking that out for food and coffee in the morning. Now across the street from that is the start of the cultural district here in Kelowna. So to my left looks like a theater of some kind, and a nice little walking path, which is great for Juju because it really tested his patience as we were waiting for coffee just now. Oh, what did you find there? Ogopogo! It's eating an apple. Ooh, a Canadian apple. So if you're not familiar, the Ogopogo is kind of like the Sasquatch of this region. It's like or the Loch Ness Monster, as you can tell by the depictions. It's supposed to be kind of snake and dragon-like, living in the waters somewhere out here. I'm not sure which body of water it's supposed to be in. Lake Okanogan. Okay, it's the Lake Okanogan Loch Ness Monster equivalent. So going back to some of our first impressions of being here, it gives us similar vibes to Lake Chelan, which is over on the Washington side. And it's, you know, someplace that a lot of people in Seattle visit because it's so close. But this is way bigger and more exciting than Lake Chelan.
Yeah, it's more developed here. The lake itself is much larger. And all around their houses and the proper roads and everything in Chelan, there's just a tiny bit of development on one end. And then you can take a boat and go for hours, but there's no anything. So the two countries actually treat this region differently. Canada treats it as something coveted to develop because it's warm, and the USA treats it as something to preserve the nature and so on because it's remote for the US and northern.
Mm-hmm. We have found the Ogopogo. It looks rather friendly.
Yeah, Ogopogo.
If we keep walking past this commercial strip, we get to the big city park. The beginning of the city park, truly, because it's a pretty big park. And it lines the side of the lake here. I already see Juju out there running through the grass. So we're coming up on the little splash park here, which is actually on. I thought it was off. It's just not so obvious from a distance. Next to that is a full-blown skate park. And right across the way from that is a very big outdoor playground. So obviously prior to kids, this would not have appealed to Martin and I at all. We probably wouldn't have looked at it twice. But now that we have a kid, we're starting to understand why these facilities exist and even plan our trips around them, just to make sure that there's enough for Julian to do outside, because we want him to be an outdoorsy boy. And it seems to be paying off because he definitely loves being outdoors. Cold, huh? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Well, the splash park was a hit. That was Julian's first splash park, actually, or spray park, and he loved it.
One thing to say that I keep thinking since we've arrived, the climate is so perfect for summer vacations because it's not over the top heat and it's also dry. And so there's a little cool breeze. You don't roast so much. You're not really bogged down by the heat like when you go south in the summer.
Yeah, I would say it's obviously to taste. Some people do like that, you know, super intense, humid heat, but we actually, maybe we've lived in the north for too long, but for us, this is the perfect temperature.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yesterday the line for ice cream was brutal, so we saw where they're lining. Now we're gonna get it. Must be good. We got ice cream for everybody. It's really good, really creamy. I got London fog with bergamot.
We got a strawberry.
The ice cream.
Yeah, with strawberry.
We're pretty strict about the sugar, but we'll give him ice cream in the summer.
How could we not? Like, that's just a quintessential thing to do as a kid. And it's good ice cream. We're getting some of the best ice cream ever, so.
We're walking the main shopping strip now. Soon, actually. Here is still restaurants, but beyond here, it's shopping. No Arc'teryx, unfortunately.
But there is Lululemon, which you guys probably have heard of, and it is actually from Vancouver, BC. But yes, we're walking down Bernard Street, so the beginning of it is, you know, like a lot of the eateries and the bars that are pretty busy, but if you keep going down, it gets a little bit less crowded, but still lots of places to eat and grab some food.
Here you can see high rises going up. Like I was saying, they're starting to do that more and more here based on a new ordinance. And it will make the city much different when they do that. There'll be quite a lot of high rise in the downtown. I am not sure where the population increase is going to come from or whether they have the jobs to pay off all this. That remains to be seen. But they're building hard.
just had dinner at the most unexpected place ever for a really good beef rendang, which is a brewery.
Yeah, a brewery that has a lot of fusion, and in particular Asian fusions, along with some traditional American stuff. It was very good, everything was very good, and we were pretty satisfied. The space was exceptional, actually.
Kind of has like a lodge vibe on the bottom, but if you go upstairs, there's even more seating, and there's even a bowling alley and a bocce ball court.
Yeah, an arcade if I'm to pinball.
Yeah, it was really well done. It felt pretty classy in there. And very kid-friendly. So Julian ran around the entire thing, at least twice. So when I was doing some research on some of the best places to get food and coffee in this town, I checked a bunch of lists and, saw which ones were cross-referenced. And I'm noticing that a lot of those places that I saw on those lists, like we're just walking by as we're taking a casual stroll through the city. So that just shows how walkable everything is and how there's really good food and coffee in between. On the next episode, join us as we venture outside of downtown into West Kelowna and end our journey with an overnight stay on an organic vineyard in Kettle Falls, Washington.